Hi, everybody. So we're up and rolling, and just want to make sure that this thing is flying, and then we will get to some updates. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hope we can get ourselves going, and as we get closer to the beginning of the year, we're so excited. We had staff members on campus today, going through some tech stuff, and it was just really great to see our staff back and getting involved and having conversations with each other about what teaching and learning is going to look like this year. And I know there's a lot of trepidation when it comes to what that's going to look like from all points of view, but to have a group that was willing to come in and really think about things a little differently was really important. So kudos to them, and we're going to be back with another group tomorrow talking about their growth goals, as well as really embedding some of the tech stuff that we're talking about, and then again on Friday, and then we start with staff next week for the majority of the week, coming back to talk about how we can make sure that we're ready for you. So that's where we're at right now, and I want to give you a couple updates, and then just answer a bunch of questions if you have them. We'll do another one of these next week, and then we'll be ready to roll for the year. We can continue to do them if people see any value in them at all. We could certainly do that. If not, there's no shortage of things to do, but as long as we can keep you in the mix and in the conversation, then we certainly want to do that. So thanks so much for joining us and talking about what we can do to kind of move ourselves forward here. So I have a couple of updates, and then we can kind of get into any questions that you may have moving forward. So we got a very accurate count, real accurate count from people on their thoughts on whether or not they're going to the virtual option or on site. So we should have our class lists ready to go. Those class lists will be out by Monday to make sure that you have what you need. So we're looking at Monday as the day to send all that stuff out. We have a couple things that we're going to make sure that we get to families earlier than that. Ashley Mason, the elementary mid-school principal, will have her orientation video out tomorrow for families. So look for that if you do not get an email tomorrow from us regarding the orientation video to kind of get you started. So to begin the year, please let us know, and we'll make sure that we get you on the list if you're not already on the list. So that's going to happen tomorrow. Class list will go out on Monday. When we start thinking about coming back to school and all the things that you need to bring, a number of people, well, almost everybody now that I think about it, has tech devices or Chromebooks that they had at the end of the year. Please bring those back. We'll use those at the next grade level for you, so you can bring those back to school. If you have jetpacks or hotspots that we gave you at the end of the year, those the little disc looking hotspot things, these things, if you have these, bring them back, and we'll take those from you to make sure that we can have those on site. And so bring those back. So we have those when you come back to school. Let's see. What else do we have? Bus. We have a pretty accurate count on the bus at this point. We're still finalizing some of those numbers, and thank you to all the parents that were willing to be able to self-transport. We do believe that we can put ourselves in a position so we won't have staggered start times. So that's really good. We're just trying to figure out how many kids we can get on the bus moving forward. So that's where we stand right now with that group, and we're the one virtual piece of what we have right now that we can't really figure out at this point in terms of additional programming is the 4K virtual component. We're really struggling with that, and we continue to look for resources that we could utilize for anybody that's choosing a 4K virtual option. So please stay on the lookout for that. We'll continue to look and see if we can find the best option for those students. But anybody who picked the virtual option, the 100% virtual option, we'll be in touch with you regarding that placement here in the next couple of days as well. So that's where we stand when it comes to some of the updates. I'm trying to think. I'm just getting myself so I can answer any of these questions that we come up with. Okay, so those are some of the updates just in terms of the school stuff. We do have less than 10% of the population at school that has chosen the virtual option from a 4K through 12 perspective. So we're trying to figure out the best way to connect with those kids and make sure that you families that have chosen the virtual option still have a connection, even if it's not directly to the classroom. We still want to make sure that you have a connection to school in some capacity. So those are all set to go. I'm just looking at my list. Right as we stand today, we've started high school athletics. We have cross country is running under the recommendations of the WIAA and the county. So we're going to continue to do those. We're going to continue to move forward with fall sports. Cross country has started. Middle school cross country will start on August 25th. Middle school and high school football and volleyball are scheduled to start on September 8th. And at this point, we're going to move forward with that until we're told different. We are going to continue to move forward with those fall seasons. So those are the things that are coming up, and I think I got everything. All right, so those are just the updates that we have for you today. But feel free to add any comments, and I'll do my best to answer any questions or point you in the direction that you need to go. So feel free to go ahead and ask questions at any point at this point. The one I think that I know you're all wondering, and I feel like I have a lot of Fall Creek gear, but I think I'm out. I think I've worn a different shirt for every one of these, and I think I'm out. So I probably have to buy more, and I think that's a relatively sound investment at this point. So if anybody wants to just kind of reach out to my wife and tell her that I need more Fall Creek stuff, that would be helpful to me. Thank you. What time can parents who are dropping their kids off start dropping their kids off in the morning? We're looking at 7:45 as the time that we want that drop-off to happen. Drop-off for the buses will continue to take place where it normally does. We'd like people to come and drop off in front of the high school on one side, and then obviously in front of the elementary mid-school office on the other. But 7:45 is the time that we would like people in school. So if we could do that, that would be helpful to us. Mandy, yes, the AB schedule that will come out on Monday, yes. So when kids come into school, they'll be going right to their classroom. We're gonna try to keep everybody in the cohort model as much as we possibly can, and and obviously there'll be some mixing in terms of moving in and moving out to those spots, but we're really gonna try to adhere to getting families into that, or getting kids into that cohort model as quickly as possible. I see Ashley is watching as well, and if there's any questions that come up, Ashley, then please let us know. Oh, I'm sorry. She says that AB schedule will come out next Wednesday. Sorry about that. Nicole's asking about the open enroll. Could you explain the busing process? Okay, so Nicole, when it comes down to the open enroll students, for busing, we're taking a look at making sure that we first make sure that we can bus district residents who are 2 miles out or farther based on state guidelines, then district residents who need a ride within that 2 miles, and then open enrolled students for what we have left, on the buses in terms of capacity. We feel really good about where we're at, but we'll be in touch on that if we can make sure that we can get open enrolled students on the bus as well. But we can't guarantee a ride at that point. We're really just trying to get everybody on if we can. Anybody else? Keep them coming. All right. Let's see what we got. lot of. Any other questions? Keep them coming. If you have any questions, keep them rolling. I mean, I'm trying to think of. I can't. I don't dance, so I'm out there. But I don't sing. I'm 0 for 2. I do magic, but usually just disappearing. So what else you got? Keep them coming. So next week we'll have those out for you. Again, bring back text devices when you come back in. We do have a cleaning checklist and protocol that we'll have all of our teachers and custodians take part in, and that's going to be that's hopefully going to be, obviously we'll have that process in place. What about show choir, band and choir? Heather Ann, we're still working on how we're going to work that schedule out. That does tend to be somewhat of an issue if we're trying to keep in a cohort model, but we still want to make sure that we're providing some opportunity for the kids, specifically when it comes to, obviously the outside, the show choir and things of that nature. We still want to provide that opportunity. We just don't know what it's going to look like. The stuff during the day is a little bit different because, again, we're trying to stay within the cohort model if we can. And when we try to schedule everybody into the band and choir piece, it is a struggle in terms of bringing people from multiple groups together. So we're still trying to figure out the best way to do that. Sorry, Heather, it would be coming out on Wednesday. Ashley, if you want to clarify that, just let me know. So, time kids are going to be picked up after school. Our school will still run on the regular schedule that we have in the past, 8 to 3, and then we go to 3:11 with the middle school and high school groups. So after that, we are asking parents not to come into the building. We want people to be met outside. That again, it also goes for if you have to pick up a student that's not feeling well. We're going to meet you at the door and make sure that we can get you your student, obviously knowing who they're going with before we allow them to exit with someone, but we'll ask you to come to the door and then we'll move on from there. I'm just scrolling through to make sure that I got to all those at this point. So we've been working with our teachers, and we'll continue to work to make sure that we can space in the classroom, which means that we're exiting a lot of furniture in the classrooms, and hopefully we can get everybody to a spot that we can still distance within the context of the classroom and keep people together. Katie, question regarding any kind of specialized services for any student. We are going to continue to provide that service wherever that service is provided. So I think the one thing that we're trying to get when we have, if we're going to have the school experience for students, we want to make sure that it's the school experience for students. So we still want to make sure that we can operate as we would have in the past, at the same time still keep people distanced and make sure that we are, adhering to the protocols that we have to at this point. But at the same time, we still want it to be a school experience. So those lists will come out next week for people to. Thank you so much for filling out the surveys, for having conversations with the administrators to make sure that your feelings were heard, your feelings were heard then, and we just want to make sure we put people in the best position possible, if at all possible, and try to make sure that we can and make any accommodation needed, while also trying to make sure that that we move forward. Mike's asking about on fall sports, and at this point we're moving forward. Like I had mentioned earlier, cross country has already started. Middle school cross country will start on the 25th, and middle school, high school volleyball and football will start on September 8th. going in person one day. Oh, Sarah, great question about the not starting on Mondays. We will have a schedule out for everybody to make sure that we can get those days clarified for you. That'll come out next week as well. Do you know the rules for parents and game attendance yet? No, we do not. We do not at this point. We actually had a conversation with the health department regarding that specific question today, and Brad Saransky is going to put together our plan for them when it comes to spectators and run that by them when that is complete. All right. Keep rolling. Any other questions? Again, we have orientation video from Miss Mason will come out to the elementary mid-school group tomorrow. Or maybe that's just the elementary. Actually, if you want to clarify that, you certainly can. But then if you have tech devices at home, please bring them back so we can check them in, make sure that they're working correctly. Class list will be going out next week. If you have hotspots, bring them our way. We're still looking at trying to figure out what 4K virtual learning looks like. We don't have the answer to that yet. I'm not going to even pretend that we do. Or any fall sports schedules that have been updated so I can post them. Dave will be in touch on that. Connect with Brad. He'll let you know. Because I think that will change regarding how many groups are intent on running, playing, and everything that goes along with it. So Ash says that they sending a video to both elementary and middle schools, virtual details on the virtual orientation. So stay tuned for that. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Any other questions? All right, so we're going to continue to make sure that the building is not only ready for your students when they get there. We are going to need some help. We are going to need some help, and a lot of that help is going to come in some things that you can just really talk to your kids about when it comes to being in school. One is when we arrive at school to make sure that we can get right to the classroom. So being here around that 7:40, 7:45 timeline is really important for us. Also, if your students are getting on the bus, just making sure that they know and understand that it's our bus driver's main view has to be out in front of them and not behind them. So if they could, they'll have assigned seats based on when they get on and when they move off the bus. So just if you could help us with that, we would really truly appreciate it, and that would really help in terms of getting people in and out. Also, we know that you love to come into the building at the end of the day and help get your students ready to leave, and sometimes help them push them along a little bit, right? Because they tend to hang, right? Because they love it here. They just love it here. That's what happens, people. That's what happens, right? So we understand that, but we are asking that you stay outside, and we will come to you. We're trying to get the least amount of people in the building as we can. So hopefully that'll work. Crystal asked if it would be scheduled mass breaks for elementary students other than recess. I don't know if those have been scheduled yet, but at the same time, we know it's very important for our staff to make sure that the kids are outside and do have that time outside of mass, and that will be completely evident to our staff as we start planning days. The days are going to look a little bit different, and we're hoping that we can be outside a lot to begin the year and make sure that the kids can have some time out and running and that kind of thing. So we do want to make sure that we build that into our schedule, and it could be at some recess time, but also some additional time. I was having a conversation with one teacher that has a classroom that's connected to the courtyard. in the elementary school. And certainly, if they want to work in the courtyard where we can still make sure that we see them and they're outside, absolutely. If we can give different spaces, that'd be fantastic. Heather asks if we can schedule a meeting like this for the first week of school. We can certainly do that. Whatever you need. We can do a lot of virtual meetings and try to keep people as informed as possible. 4Kers need a mask on the bus as well. Tammy, the answer is yes at this point, based on what the county is telling us. At this point, the answer is yes. We really want to make sure that we can get kids to school. If for those kids that needed bus rides, we want to make sure that we can do that. We're really trying to work on that through some of the routes and make sure that we can get them here. And I think one of the things that we try to keep in mind is that families have certainly been burdened tremendously with upsets, how the schedule has been upset, and just some of the other logistical things. And we're trying to make at least as much normal as possible when it comes to being here. So we'll continue to do that, and we can't begin to thank you for all the sacrifices that you've made to make this work as well as it possibly could. Like we had mentioned earlier, like the plan, it's not perfect. It has holes, and even the questions tonight make me think, thinking about what the first couple of days look like without a Monday. It was a great question, Sarah, and just making sure that everybody knows what that looks like, because it's not going to be on a normal schedule at that point. So little things like that these interactions have really helped us out with. So we truly appreciate your willingness to speak your mind and help us out along the way. So thank you so much for that. I saw one student today, and we were having conversation about the magic that took place at the end of the year. And she asked if there was any more magic. I said, I'm totally out of magic. I'll have to think of something at this point. But one of the things that I talk a lot about when it comes to, in a time of such uncertainty, trying to figure out ways to start your day with joy and end your day with joy is really, truly important. And as much, as nerve-wracking as this can be, to really talk about what it could look like when you don't know the answers, just to be able to feel like we can all connect and have a conversation about what it looks like truly ends the day with some joy for us. So thank you very much for all of your comments, and hopefully we can move forward with this together. Let's see. So a question about modifications made to lunch. Yeah, modifications will be made to lunch, in that we will be using the entire space for lunch. Kids will still go to the middle school gym for lunch, but we'll be at about 3 students per table, and the process will be set up. Val was in today actually with her crew, taking a look at what it looks like and how to make sure that kids can distance, as well as get to a spot and still eat and be distanced while they eat. So we'll be using the entire middle school for that process. Question about the kindergarten through 5th grade have full school days, or is it some days at home with virtual? Shauna, all days K through 5 are full days, 5 days, 5 full days a week. 4K would be on their normal schedule that they've had in the past, which are the half days. And then the 6 through 12 is on a hybrid AB schedule, with 2 days being on-site and 3 days being virtual. Can formal introduction be made to families with the new elementary school principal? Absolutely, and I think you'll get that, Rachel, tomorrow when she sends out her orientation stuff. So we're really excited to have Ashley Mason with us. She's been doing a fantastic job of connecting, and I look forward to seeing her work here. So really excited about it. I know she's excited too. So Mike's asking about, wonder what the learning model the school board ended up with. Are you speaking to that's the K through 5 on-site all day, 5 days a week in the 6-12 hybrid model? Mike, I don't know if that's specifically what you're talking about. If not, you can add it in here. Or if you want to give me a call, 715-877-1000. You can call me as soon as we're done here, and I'll stick around and answer any questions that you may have. And that goes for anybody. I'm here after, so as soon as we're done here, we'll wrap up in a couple minutes, but I'm in my office. Feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, but I'll be here and I'll just stick around for a while until I'll stick around for a while. And if you have any questions, just feel free to call 715-877-1000, and that's direct to right there, and I'll answer any questions that you may have. All right, we're coming down to it. We're close. We're getting close. We can't wait. Having kids here for summer school, I mentioned a couple weeks ago, just seeing kids in the summer school has been so wonderful, and they've done such a great job, even in masks. You know, you could tell when they're smiling, they squint a little bit, and you could tell they're having a good time. So we're really excited to see them. We're really excited to see your kids. It's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes. At the same time, we're going to try to keep you as informed as possible moving forward. So we'll do one more next week, and by that time, you will have your AB schedules. You will have you'll have all of the orientation stuff, all the virtual orientation that will be happening, the information from our principals to make sure that they have everything that they need. But if you have any specific questions, email me, give me a call. I'm in my office, and hopefully we can kind of you can kind of work through it in that capacity. Any other questions? We have one more call. Another question came in. If a kid has a cold in the winter, do they have to be tested for COVID before returning to school? We will know that from the health department. Here's the thing about the current situation that we're in with COVID-19, and then with other cold things that happen with kids. Kids are going to get cold. They're going to get the sniffles. They're going to get allergies. They're going to get all this stuff. Does that mean that they automatically have a positive COVID test? The answer is probably no. And we think that we're going to use a protocol that we'll send out that, we want to make sure that you're away from school for 24 hours, fever-free, symptom-free, without medication. Then you'll be able to come back when you're fever-free and symptom-free. But just having a cold and or having allergies doesn't automatically move you into that area. So we're gonna try to make sure that everybody knows and understands that sometimes kids just get sick. That's just what happens. And we want to make sure that we can, move those kids out and back in the best way possible, because we want them here. We certainly want them here. We want all of you here. We want everybody here. We want everybody. But this is kind of where we're at. So, Sean, I hope that answered your question. We will have a protocol, but it doesn't if somebody gets a cold, it doesn't mean automatically we put you in the testing protocol moving forward at all. We just want to make sure that you're symptom-free, fever-free, before you come back for 24 hours without medication before you come back. Nikki, great question about bring your own water bottles. I would. The drinking fountains are closed. We do have the bottle pieces of the drinking fountains open, so you can utilize that part of it. But the bubbler is closed. The bubbler, it's true Wisconsin right there, right? So that part's closed, but the water filling station is open. I don't know. You got me. All right, you got me. Perfect. Sorry about that. All right, people, I'm out. So if you have any other questions, send them my way. And if you want to give me a call, talk more about it, please feel free to do so. So, any other questions? Do I have any other questions? If they're going to put them in for 2 days, risking exposure, why not just go full time? Oh, so the question, Hannah, that question really kind of comes down to, for us, it's really a space issue. We would love to have everybody here, honestly, but it comes down to a space issue as told to us by the health department. So if we can't get 6 feet of spacing within the classrooms, specifically at the middle school and high school, then we can't have everybody on site for that. So that's the answer to that. We would love to have everybody on site. We believe that we could make that work. At the same time, we don't have the space available for that without moving multiple groups off campus to have enough space for people on campus. So we would have had to move 2 grade levels off of campus to make sure we could get everybody else on campus, and we didn't know if that was the right thing to do. So I don't know if that answers your question. If not, 715-877-1000. I am here. Give me a call. Shoot me an email. That's all I got. All right, people. Have a great night. We will see you next week. We'll try to do it Wednesday again just to make sure that we stay as consistent as possible. You're fantastic. You're amazing. And we love working with you. We are humbled, honestly. You've been so flexible in this process, and we look forward to seeing everybody when they come back. So let me know if you need anything. 715-877-1000. Joe Sanfilippo at fallcreek.k12.wi.us if you need anything else. All right? Take care, everybody. Go Crickets.